What's going on? Move the Mouse here, back in City Skylines. New year, new season, number 8. And in this season, I thought we could focus on one of the DLCs that we haven't yet, or at least not on a console-based build, and that is Campus. Now, you're seeing a relatively empty map right now, because I'm actually flying around a 9-tile version of the city that we're about to start this build on, because I wanted to show you, and this is really one of the first times I've actually planned out accordingly, but what our build might look like for space once we're all said and done. So this is one of the maps that comes with Campus. It's called Marin Bay. I jumped in here with all the cheats on and basically bought 9 tiles just to see what it would look like. And it's a strangely shaped city, as you can see, but it's got a good feel and a good layout. So either way, we're starting here on this island. And I think what we'll do is we'll build up as much as we can here just to reach population milestones and things like that. And then eventually blow all this away and start with something brand new on this island. And I'm actually going to throw a poll out on the channel today. It'll normally be a Monday thing for the following Friday, but I'll give it a few extra days for everybody to get used to this new format. But I want to pose a question to the community every Monday, and then hopefully build something out on that on Fridays. But here's what I was thinking: is this? I'm already getting distracted. We're off to a terrific start. Have a look kind of at the lines of this city and kind of where these trees are. Right, we don't need to build there. It's a natural barrier, and I think building the tiles like this in this organization of 9, I think will give us a pretty interesting build. So we can focus, really, I think, most of our city on this side of the water, and tuck things in behind the clearings, which is also relatively flat space. And then up here, up in the corner, we just kind of, maybe we do something with this little piece of land that juts out, but the bulk of our city will be there. And then I was thinking one of the things that we could do over here might be to make this island a university campus area, or we could do industrial. We could do something like the airports. Let's actually take a look at how big the airports would be on this island. Where's the international? Is this the international airport? So we could make that work. We'd have to flatten the slope a little bit, but we could do like international airport here. Which one's the cargo? Cargo airport hub. I think that's the one we want, right? That's the one that has the train station built into it. Trucks and trains. So yeah, we could definitely get those two on this island. So we could do like a casino nightlife island, a university island, the airport island for cargo and for for international travel. And that might not be a bad idea to keep all the noise away, but let me know what you think in the comments if you want. But ideally, take part in the poll, which I will be posting today later for again, for inclusion in next Friday's video. So now that you've kind of got a brief glimpse of what we're looking at here and building a city kind of on this coastline, I think that it'll work well, because we'll have something developed on this island, but then it's almost like, I don't know, a border state where maybe this side's developed, but that side of the river is maybe in a different country. Maybe that's Canada up there. You might travel over there to get your French fries and gravy, but there's no immediate developed area over there. At least that's the story that I'm telling myself to make it work with 9 tiles. So let's quit out. Let's start a new city. Let's build with that objective in mind. And I'll tell you a little bit while we're getting started about what my plans are for 2020. So if I haven't said it already, Happy New Year, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Let's grab Marin Bay. And then I want to give it a name. In this case, Grand Lakes. And we're kind of theming everything after colleges in this one. So we're going to borrow from popular culture, college names, city names, team names. You know, you look at things like Revenge of the Nerds. We're going to go with like the different frat house names we could do for streets, for districts, for all sorts of things. So there's no shortage of inspiration we can borrow from. We're going to turn everything off. We're not going to use day-night cycle. No random disasters, no cheats, just playing the game the way it's meant to be played. And I know some of you are thinking, well, the way it's meant to be played is on PC with mods, but sometimes it's nice to step back and deal with the challenges of console-based city creation, city skylines. I enjoy it a lot. I know some of you do, whether you have a PC or not. It's a great way to enjoy this game on the couch. And we're going to dive in and start a new season off. But what I'm thinking for this season is trying to make things a little bit more manageable for everybody. So I'm going to be kind of jumping back and forth. So if you aren't really sure how to start a city, we're going to be doing everything kind of step by step in this series. But for more of a guided how-to, check out my how-to series, which at some point in 2020, I will be updating for some of the new content that wasn't included in that original series. But right now, let's build up this island. And it's going to be ugly. This is not meant to be efficient. We're using this island to populate our map, to raise our population, to eventually migrate and move everybody off over there to repurpose this island for something down the road. So don't worry too much about what this all looks like. In fact, normally I would do roundabouts here, and maybe we'll do some really small ones, but we don't need anything too fancy over here. And we'll just do regular roads, and we can upgrade it all kind of as we go. But what I'm thinking for this season is making it a little bit more manageable for me and for the viewers. In that, I know a lot of people have trouble keeping up because I crank out so much content, and I appreciate it so much that people follow the channel and regularly watch. But in 2020, I want to make it a little bit easier, and we're going to do Let's Plays Mondays and Fridays, so you get a little bit of time. You can catch up on the weekends. And then Wednesdays is going to be something else, something different. Maybe a cities tutorial, maybe something other than cities, maybe an indie game or some random gameplay. Apple Buddy and I have been thinking about getting back into Minecraft, so there's so many things that we might do, and we're just not sure exactly what it's going to be yet. But I think that's kind of what I'm going to go with, is a Monday and Friday Let's Play cities content, and then something else on Wednesdays. And again, it might be cities, might not, might be something else. But hopefully it becomes a easier to digest content schedule for a lot of people, because I know some of you are very regular in the comment section, and a lot of you play catch up from time to time, and I'll see, a whole bunch of comments from certain people all in, an afternoon, because they're finally getting a chance to catch up. And I really appreciate it, but I also want to try and make this year's content schedule a little bit easier for everybody. So we've got two very ugly roundabouts in there right now. And I didn't even use one-way roads. That's awesome. So let's do that. We'll upgrade these. We'll upgrade these first, then we'll change the directions. So that's good, and that's good. Again, we're not going to do anything too fancy over here. We're just going to max out what we can for grid space over here, basically, and then eventually tear it all down. So don't worry too much about the structure over here. This is not about making things look pretty or efficient. We're just trying to pack in as much as we can here. And I'm just going to have these two kind of meet, and then we'll fill in this grid. Maybe at some point we'll put those rocks back in. Again, so this is just going to be to max out what we can for space. And with that in mind, I guess we could build all the way up to the highway. Like so. We got one more street in there. Do something like that? Let's do that. Now, if we wanted, we could come off of here with like a little curved freeform road, since we can't zone on the back side of that. Maybe like that. Just for a little bit of extra zoning over there. And let's see. Let's break out our zoning tool. I want to find a little commercial here along this strip. And then maybe we won't zone this one piece. But then again, how upset are people going to get if they're only living here temporarily anyways? So let's give them a bunch of space to move into. Kind of in the back neighborhoods. And then, I mean, as I do all the time, we'll save the main streets where the most traffic is for the commercial traffic. It's already going to be noisy there anyways, so people won't be complaining. A lot of downed trees and rocks and stuff over here. All this is going to get zoned over. So that's plenty to start, certainly. We'll continue the commercial over here and around the bay. But again, keep in mind, we won't be fine-tuning the roads. Like normally what I would do is break out the freeform tool and then kind of, you know, follow the beach around so that we had some beachfront property and kind of curve it like that where the zoning's just right up on the edge of the beach, kind of following the coastline. But we won't be doing that in this first early part of the build, only because, again, we're going to tear all this down. So let's get some of the basics in, like power and water. Actually, where do we want to do little industrial section over here by the water? Let's do that. I'm going to come out to the node, draw all the way back to the highway. That's close enough. And we'll do a couple streets over here that are going to be for... Maybe this will be our industrial and power sector, and we'll call it quits at that. That should be enough to get us off of this island, I would think. So let's do something like that. Way more than we need. And we'll go power and water. We'll put this up by the highway. Is that going to affect? That's going to affect across. So let's throw them over here in the middle. And power-wise, try and come up and over this segment of highway. Perfect. And we'll just run it right up to there. We'll see where we need to take it to. So that's power. Now we need water. So let's pick up, let's see. We could pump it over here and then not have to run power too far. And then as far as sewage, do we want to go with the much cheaper, more efficient 2500, or do we want to go with the more expensive, more costly over time, but less polluting eco water treatment plant? I think let's try water treatment plant. Now the water's kind of flowing around this way and then around that way. So maybe we should have put sewage over here. And I'm already costing us money, so let's move this over here where the water flow is. So the water flows this way. It should push clean water to the pump. And there's not a lot of movement over here, but it should not move back on the sewage. Shouldn't come back to our intake, which you definitely want to watch out for. You can make a lot of people sick. I see that question come up in the comments a lot, actually. Like, why is my town sick? And invariably, more often than not, it's because you're pulling polluted water into the system, and people are getting sick that way. So be very careful where you put your intakes. And let's see, let's come up this way and then we'll just connect the two. Could I have gotten right smack in the middle? Am I gonna need, yeah, I'm gonna need a tiny little bit of pipe. So I just wasted a bunch of money. I've said it before, I'll say it again, and do what I do, not as I do as I say, not as I do. If you come out $440 worth of pipe between two parallel pipes, you create this perfect little bit of overlap. And I completely didn't do that over here. So I think everything that's zoned is watered. We have power. We've got a little bit of residential and commercial. So, Grand Lakes, here we go. If you know, by the way, oh, hey, power. Before we run out of money, power. I forgot to power the water. So let's just bring this. We'll eat the rest of this zoning over here. That's fine. Let's get power over to this. And power over to that. That would be nice. So as I'd started to say, okay, now let's officially start moving people in to the city. Economy, budget, we'll move electricity and water all the way down. Now, I don't often, I didn't do this a long time ago. It's good to remind people. I know my budget pretty well. I know that we'll come out of the slump. We might go negative, but we'll come back out of it as people start to move in. but it is a good idea to potentially turn down, especially water and electricity at first when you're really low on money. That is the wrong. I wanted to go into info views. So if you look at electricity consumption, we're doing 40 megawatts of power when we're at 100% capacity. When we drop it down to 50, we're doing 10 megawatts, but that's still way more than we need right now. We do need a little bit of power to get over there because people didn't move in quite close enough to where we wanted them to. So we'll do that to extend the power out to our grid. But I think I started to say a couple times now. If you know why the city's called Grand Lakes, let me know in the comments down below. Pretty much everything that will be named, if we custom name a street, a district, a business, I'm going to try and make everything some sort of reference to a famous, usually film-based college reference. So if you know Grand Lakes, then let me know in the comments down below. Grand Lakes will be our main university as well. So Grand Lakes University, if you know, great. If you don't, feel free to Google it. It might be a movie that's a lot older than some of you, but it is a fantastic movie. And hopefully some of you get the reference. So let's actually see what our milestones are. 300 leads me to believe that they're going to be a little lower. Let's go check out the top end. 55,000 is where we're trying to get to for Megalopolis. Megalopolis. I want to say Megaopolis. Metropolis. Megaopolis. I don't know why I didn't. The L. Megalopolis. I don't know. Okay, never mind. We're already getting terribly distracted. And by we, I mean me. So we're trying to get to 300. That'll be in no time. Let's hit our first milestone. Let's drop a couple things in and consider some of our possibilities for the future of the city. I'm kind of excited about this one because this is the first time on console, I think, I've actually broken out the cheats, if you will, and really considered a build because one of the reasons I was holding off on a campus build, let's throw it on cinematic camera while we wait for those last couple people to move in. One lonely person walking down the street. One of the reasons why I've been holding off on a campus build for console is because 300, yay, is because I just couldn't figure out what 9 tiles to buy. I wanted a city to look cohesive, to look like it was one piece that was actually designed to be there. And unlike Rockdale, especially if you've been watching the channel for a while, where I like bought 9 squares in a square and like it just runs right up to the edge, grid and then nothing, grid and then edge of map. I want this one to flow a lot better. So hopefully we'll be able to achieve that this season. The other thing that I want to achieve this season is, again, a more manageable schedule. So we're going to try and keep the episodes around 20, 25 minutes, somewhere in there. Not too short, but not too long. Let me know your thoughts on the episode length and, you know, how that fits. I know some people like the longer episodes. Some people like the more frequent content, but I want to find this balance where it's manageable for everybody. Manageable for me, but manageable for you as a viewer to kind of stay up to date and stay, in tune with what we're doing, what we're talking about in the channel. Distractions, new features, taxes and loans, garbage, healthcare, education. Let's get all that stuff in and call it a day on our first episode of Grand Lakes back in City Skylines Console Edition Campus DLC. So we're going to be building quite a university, maybe even a couple competing universities so they can play each other in varsity sports. But we'll see. We'll worry about that. Okay, hold on. Mouse, slow down. Loans, taxes, garbage, healthcare, education. Let's do that. Let's call it a day. And hopefully everybody is off to a terrific start this 2020. I'm happy already with all the distractions and nonsense. And hopefully you are too. So, economy, taxes, 12%. Wait. What? There we go. Is there like a field? There was like another field I was clicking on where it wouldn't let me. It doesn't matter. Taxes, loans. Let's take out a loan. Let's look at our budget. %50 on power and water. Let's see where we're at info view wise. Actually, great. Okay, so we've got a little bit of money in the bank. Garbage, healthcare, education. So again, this isn't going to be the final space for anything, but we'll put this kind of out on the center circle there, so it's easy for most people to get to. Garbage, healthcare, education. So let's go over to education since we're right here on this tab, and we're going to go with the standard schools for now. Can we cram it in right there on the end of that block? You let me go right there? Perfect. I like that. And then last would be some sort of landfill. 16,000, man. And we're still losing money, so this might get interesting here. Let's throw this over here for now. Let's hit play. Throw it on 3 times speed, and let's see if we can at least get in the positive money-wise. Which we should once we hit a certain population cap. Get enough people in here paying a little bit of tax. That is not power? Come on. That's got to be power. That's going to be power by the time I break out the... electricity. No? Okay. Let's do that. Now we have a recycling plant. Excellent. Pennies. Who else has moved in? Pennies and Sally's. Got the clinic, the bookstore, the Big Bite. Another bookstore. Town loves books. This looks a little awkward over here with all the electrical lines, but we will clean that up eventually. What is our next... Our next milestone can't be too high. At 600. Oops. Remember when I one-wayed the entrances and exits to the roundabouts, but not the roundabouts? Let's fix that before we go. So upgrade. Because that honestly is just creating more corners and not helping us move traffic around efficiently at all. Okay, so that's all flowing the right way. Hopefully this does the same. Terrific start. We're forgetting stuff. Running out of electricity. All the problems we could want are happening. That's perfect. I'm not going to micromanage it too much. If you really kind of get in here and fine tune, you can get it just above where you want. If you're playing on PC, there is a mod called Total Auto Budget, which will constantly examine and adjust your budget based on the needs, which is pretty cool for making money. Budget wise, we're at 70% on electricity, which is more than we need. It's okay though. We'll be fine. This town will be rolling in the dough before you know it. So as we take a little cruise around our city, I want to thank everybody for all the support last year. If you're new here, subscribe because there'll be lots more of this year. I started out my YouTube channel years ago just posting a single Skate 3 video. And then 5 years after that, in 2015, I started to do some Fallout 4 content. But it was the city's content that really stuck. And that's where I really developed an audience and where I've been focused for quite a while. But this year, yes, I want to bring you lots more cities content. We're going to be doing console, we're going to be doing PC, we're going to be doing mods and all kinds of let's play and tutorials and theory and all sorts of stuff. But there's going to be other stuff happening this year too. I want to get back into video essays and rants and reviews and all sorts of other stuff, sharing VR and indie games and all different stuff that I do love and play all the time. It's not just cities, and I want to share more of that in 2020. Hopefully you are along for the ride. We've already hit our second milestone. Fantastic. We'll cover that in the next episode. Again, we'll really cram what we can into this island. Keep an eye out for a poll, which will pop up this weekend, Monday at the latest. But we're going to do Monday polls on the channel for potential content on Fridays. So I'm going to be asking you to kind of decide and shape the city. Keep an eye out on that. Get your votes in before Friday's episodes. Ideally, get your votes in before Thursday, because that's when I try and record them the day before, so I have time to edit in case something goes wrong, but sometimes they happen morning of. You never know. But anyways, here I am, long-winded and distracted in episode 1. Again, off to a fantastic start. Hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully you'll get inspiration and information and entertainment from this season. I am really excited about it. Again, it took me a while to kind of settle into what city, what map I wanted to build on in console, because I wanted it to look the part. I wanted it to look like a city, not just something that was kind of plopped in these 9 squares. And I think we'll be able to do that here, but only time will tell. If you enjoyed this episode, likes, comments, and shares all help the channel a lot and are greatly appreciated. You'll hear me say that every episode, but it is really true. The more you interact with the video, the more YouTube wants other people to find it. So consider that when you're watching some of your favorite content creators. Like, comment, subscribe, share, interact with the content, and you'll see more of that content in your feed, and also encourage creators to make more of that content. Speaking of, if you'd like to support the channel, there is a link to my Patreon or become a channel member right through YouTube in the description down below. Subscribe if you're new here, and hit the bell to get notifications for updates in this and other series. If you've got ideas, let me know in the comments down below. Keep an eye out for the polls that'll be happening weekly on YouTube on the community tab. But also follow me on Twitter and join the Discord if you want to get involved in the discussion. If you aren't over on Discord already, it's free. It's available on desktop and mobiles. And you can basically join in a community of fans of the channel, fans of cities. We talk about all sorts of games over there, not just cities. But if you ever have a question, it's a fantastic place to ask, because there's lots of helpful people that really know their stuff, regardless of what platform you're playing on, different mods, whole community of people over there. Pose your question, and if it's something that we don't know, we'll dive into it on a future episode. So thank you so much for tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed the ride last year, if you're a returning visitor. I think more of the same, but better in 2020. If you're new here, hopefully you'll stay tuned and see what this channel is all about. But in the meantime, until the next one, which again, for the Let's Plays, this year will be Mondays and Fridays, something else on Wednesdays. But until the next one, this is Move the Mouse, saying Happy New Year, and signing off.